And we are live here for another Hofstra matchup on the LI Sports Network. So excited to come at you with a midday hockey game. A little bit cold in the rink because it's too hot outside, if you ask me. Hofstra taking on Stevens Institute of Technology today for a metropolitan area matchup as we get into the national anthem. As we got your starting netminder for both sides, Jack Cousine going to be in net for Stevens. On the other side, Angelo Manzello, number 90, getting the start in net for the Pride. Should definitely be a good matchup between these two sides. Again, metropolitan metropolitan area rivalry. Stevens hailing from not exactly the great state of New Jersey. It's a state, I suppose, but I'm not biased as a New York fan at all. Although my Jets are playing there right now, but I don't really want to think about the Jets either. As we get into the opening face-off for this matchup, Hofstra trying to win it out with their captain Cox at the point. It's dumped in by Stevens, wrapped around down low. Saw an explosive start for the Pride on Friday. They bounced out to a 4-1 lead in the first period. Somehow that game still ended up getting contested towards the later stages. Hofstra needed a shorthanded goal, a little bit more magic in order to claw back the win, but they did take the win away against Strong Island, which is, of course, a team comprised of St. John's players, but not affiliated with the school just yet. They are trying to get their ACHA team underway as we take our first pause. Face off in the O zone for the Pride, one back to the half wall. Shot going towards the net for Rosa, bounces around, ends up on the boards. Stevens trying to find the clear, and they will push it out. It's Chalmers to push it there. Now his team having a little bit of trouble navigating this neutral zone. Once again, up for the Pride. DeLuca looking for a shot from the slot. Once again, out in front, backhander not going to go on net for Van Aaron. Pride almost given a little bit of a short-handed rush there. Chalmers almost had the angle. Instead, it's back for a shot that whistles off in front of the crease. Cousine getting his first test. Just passes it off down low. Turnover at the boards. Big hit coming in the corner. Stevens getting a little bit physical to open up this frame. Hiding. Rims it. Goes to the far point. Feza looking for a drive. It's popped high into the air. Rattles off the boards. Pride are able to keep it in. Great possession for them on this shift. Kelly Chucks it high and wide of the net. Four bodies come together below the goal line. Hofstra still in this offensive end. Pass almost comes out in front. They shove it home. Hofstra out to a 1-0 lead. And these first periods keep going as you see it on the replay right there. The puck just going into that left side. So Cox back out for the face-off, 1-0 Pride. Pass up at the far point. Stevens finding an interception there, getting it in on net. Shot goes off the near side. Sliding across the blue paint, and Hofstra clear it towards the boards. It's a dangerous rush right there. Stevens right back onto it. Dylan Fowler carrying it over, looking for a shot pad save. And Zello is able to get it with the left leg. Shot could be deflected out in front from the traffic, and Pride break it out. Skating 3-on-2, couple back checks for Stevens. They run into the referee at the far point. Hope he's okay. O'Leary brought it into the zone, trying to stick with it. Dangles at the blue line and lets his teammate take over. Sauce pass out in front, did not reach the tape of Kyle Robkin. Kyle back onto it in the boards. Stevens having trouble in the neutral zone to start off this game, but they do dump it in. Hofstra back onto it. McArdle couldn't get the clear, so now he'll go into pressure on defense, trying to steer his man away from the net. Louisi against McArdle. Now coming into the fray is Chalmers. Van Aaron against the boards. It's pushed down low. Dean Rosa after it. Couldn't come away with it. Pops around a little bit. Stevens backhander towards the net. Manzello might have gotten a piece of it. So the Pride break it out, looking for some more offense. Guglione gets a shot on net. Save made. Rebound, they score. We'll get a replay of that as the Pride now up 2-0. As you can see, great camera work right here. The zoom in on that shot. Pops out to the right side. Buried. The Pride up 2-0 now. Stevens already chasing this game. Grace Hiding on the first score, collecting her first goal of the season. They look for a tip out in front off a shot from the point. Dean Rosa was looking for an assist right there. Hiding almost got her stick on it again. We're going to double it up in the first period. Only a couple minutes really gone by. Puck wrapped around. Dean Rosa trying to clear. Assisted now by Sullivan. He'll flip it high, touches down in the neutral zone. Soletta will dump it in for Stevens. Wrapped around to the far left wing corner. Pass out in front. The Pride find it. Dixon Child flips it high and into the offensive end. Forecheck now set up for the Pride. Cox trying to pinch in on it. Pops it high but not able to handle. Taylor puts it out in front. The shot aired a little too high. Was on an arc as well. Could have dropped in off the bar. Stevens getting a little unlucky there. Manzella might have been able to make the save regardless. Best pressure we've seen from Stevens so far. 2-0 the score, early goings. Puck back for Amante. Sent at the length and now gets played back at him and his defensive partner. Hofstra have been doing a great job clogging up this slot. Not allowing any shots to go through them, not allowing any rebound opportunities either. Doing a great job playing at home. Obviously, ACHA rink dimensions can be different from game to game for all these teams, so knowing how to play on your sheet of ice is always so important. Stevens will dump and chase. John Igler can't hold it in. Pops back to the neutral zone. McNamara was chasing after it. Needs some support from McIntyre now. McNamara now joining the rush as a defenseman. Carries it off to the left side. Trying to turn an edge. Pinched into the boards, finding an outlet pass. Into the slot now. Rattles off some skates. Still sitting there and finally finding it are the Pride. McArdle, D-to-D pass. They break forward. Hiding. Pass across the blue line. Ends up loose in the right wing corner. Swaps back out. Long range shot. Ramps off a stick. Hits the end boards. Hofstra is still rotating. Looking for a tip out in front. Cam Kelly was there. Hiding was in the area as well. Stevens come forward. Shot on net. Big rebound. Save made. Second one and a paddle away. Still loose out in front. Stevens trying to find some twig on the puck, but they just can't get any more shots. Manzella was good for all the saves. Stays clean so far. As we're going to get a hand pass face-off coming in the neutral zone now. About halfway through this first period. Cox into the dot. One back by Stevens. Race for the puck to the far boards. Jacob Lee trying to win it. Does play it forward. Lee now on the follow-up. Has Cox there, but Cox gets blown by as well. On the back check. Captain doing a good job getting there. Manzella out of his net to slow this thing down. Hofstra taking their time to clear the zone. Very aggressive for Stevens in the neutral. Referee getting a piece of that puck, unfortunately, for Jacob Lee. Broke up his momentum a little bit, but gets it back, and at the red line, he'll dump it in. Cox the first one to it. Picks it up behind the net. Overskates it just a little bit. Stevens can try to play to it. And diving on top is Cousine. believe we're going to get a false start on the face-off. Do it again. .9:18 to play in the period. Hofstra bouncing out to a 2-0 lead. We saw them do this on Friday. Question is, can they keep the middle periods in the middle frame safe? Gabe, that's the question, as I am joined by Gabe Takuri as our board operator for today. Gabe normally doing social media, trying his hand at this whole production thing, so you always got to give your hat off to him for being a team player. Could be doing a lot of things on Sunday as a pass goes out in front of the blue paint. You could be watching the Jets lose. That's something I do on Sunday a lot. Hofstra dumps it in as it twirls around the boards. Matarazzo, the second goal scorer of today, was first in on the forecheck. Stevens evades him for a second. Opportunity to clear. Bounces to the blue line and out. DeLuca will pass it off. McArdle. Give and go for him. McArdle past the blue line. Finding another connection with Matarazzo. Trying to give it back up high for Amante, but he got a little tied up. Pride looks like they'll go for a change, bring out a fresh line. Offsides for just a second. Van Aaron touches up. Flies into the corner. Trying to win the puck battle at the skates. McIntyre had it contained for a second, lost it, now has a chance to get back on the backhand contested. Another opportunity for the Pride as they find some room. Stevens close it down once again, looking for the pinch on the board. Dean Rosa was ready for the pass, but doesn't get the feed. McNamara circles it around. Igler looking for the clear and flips it high. Hofstra again on the reload. They'll dump in from the neutral zone. Sent the length of the ice. Manzello will keep it alive with no icing. 7 minutes to play in the first period. Stevens find the dump. Tense battle in the left wing corner. Stevens are going to win it, looking for options at the point. Comes down low. Chalmers circles it in deep once more. Everything down low. They finally find something out in front. Manzello makes one save, tracking the puck off to his right-hand side, and Hofstra are going to find a breakout after that scramble. Hiding couldn't stay with it. Has Cox following up behind her. She'll go off for a change. Cox. Good stick work. Long-range shot goes off to the left. Cox collects on the backhand. Avoids one hit and does come away with the puck. Good moves for Cox. Beats another one. Cox looking for a shot, and it's going to deflect into the netting. Captain showing off what he's got. Back to the draw for Cox, looking for Lee out in front. Couldn't find the connection. Stevens looked to clear. Comes to the blue line. Hofstra get it in the neutral zone. McArdle racing around. D-to-D pass. Finds Cox. Looking for a drag move around one. Had it interrupted, so he'll just brute force it in. Now going off for a change. Stevens with a little bit of speed on this rush. McArdle with a poke check does direct it back over to the boards. Alicio giving a little bit of help out. Stevens back for it. Shot from the slot. Takes a big deflection in front. Both saved Manzello doing a great job tracking that puck. Pride trying to find the clear. They'll hit Lee on the far boards, off his skate and out of the zone. Stevens would have had to check up there, but they'll just concede pressure. McArdle, long shift for him. To the left circle, he'll play one on net, easily sticked aside by Cousine. Pride now trying to flood the zone with numbers. Stevens picks that apart, back for McArdle in the neutral zone. Try a high dump this time, glove down by Cousine, and keeps it alive for a second, then gets the whistle from the referees. .424 to play in the first period. 2-0 the score right now for Hofstra. Face off. One back to the blue line. Dean Rosa trying to get something in front of the cage and ends up deflecting down low. And Cousine will get it in his padding off the apron. Get another whistle. Potential breakout for Stevens. Play one on net. Manzello, better glove. As we'll take a replay of that save. Got the in-tight shot right here. Angelo getting ready right there, dropping down into the butterfly. Glove exactly where the shot came. Can't ask for anything easier for that, for the netminder. Stevens, they've been starved for offense recently. Robkin tries to throw something ahead. Once again, it's eaten up, and Cam Kelly will clear. Falls down at the blue line, so it's dumped right back into his end. Hofstra rotated around looking for the open man. Alicio had trouble getting to it. Looks for Grace. Onto the puck, but can't clear. Now put it into the neutral zone. Grace chasing after it. Put in deep. Manzello onto it. Alicio with it again. Put out in front for Manzello, and he'll cover up and get another whistle. Face off, one back to McIntyre. Quickly stripped of the puck as the Pride can break out. Comes back to McNamara. Sends it ahead. Stevens caroms it around the boards. McArdle first one onto it. He'll take some punishment. Cox blocking up a shot in front of him. McNamara on the follow-up, and it goes high into the sky. Glove down by Manzello. Face off. Goes to the half wall for a quick shot. Andrew Amonte did get the clear out. Monty taking some punishment around the boards. Gets it to McArdle. His clearing attempts put off the boards by McNamara, held there for a second. Now the follow-up from McArdle will get it out. Gets it to the red line, dumps it in. On the forecheck is Dixon Child. It eludes him. Maybe a follow-up. Cox does hold it at the blue line. Dancing down the wall. Cox out in front for a snapshot. That just goes a little too high. 50-50 puck will be scooped up and taken away. Right back into the zone for Hofstra. Trying to find more pressure onto Cousine. Rosa back onto the puck, sends it over to his left. Shot blocked. Good physical play from McNamara. DeLuca trying to feed center. Stevens find it, not able to clear. Back to the high slot. Hofstra with traffic, the shot goes wide. Bouncing puck now settled by Dean Rosa. Looks to play it to space, over to DeLuca. DeLuca gives it down low. Options available at the high slot. Wrapping around, Van Aaron. He'll take one on net, and it's gloved by Cousin. Under a minute to play here in the first period, as you'll see another replay on your screen. Cousin has been peppered so far. Hofstra with 2 to show for it. Not bad for a period's worth of work. Shot again from the slot, this time blocked in front. Cousin thankful for his defenseman to get in the way. O'Leary into the rush. His shot will go behind the net. Takes a wild carom around the boards. Played on net once more, and Manzello will glove it again. Glove has been very active so far. Trying to catch all these pucks out of the air just to make sure there's no rebound. Safest way to do so. Sullivan trying to get the clear on the faceoff. Instead, it comes in front of his net. Sullivan chases back for it. Rims it around. Not out, though. Held in at the blue line. Stevens. Shot from the slot. Batted down. Follow-up is there. Put out in front. Still loose. Comes off to the right side, and Manzello does get enough of it. Hofstra still in a little bit of trouble. Alicio gets it out in front. Manzello almost in more danger as we're going to get a quick whistle for a fallen player. No, is that the period? That is the period. Thought we had an injured player over in the right wing corner, but we're through the first 20 of play. Hofstra up 2-0. We'll be right back on the LI Sports Network for the next. And we're coming back for the start of the second period. Hofstra versus Stevens Institute of Technology. Like I've been saying, it's a metropolitan area rivalry right here. The Pride up 2-0 after 20 minutes of play. Looking to continue on a hot streak they started Friday. And on that Friday, well, they scored a lot in the first period. Had a 4-1 lead going out of the first 20. Did make it competitive, that being Strong Island. Scoring a lot in that middle frame in order to tighten the game up just a little bit. Hofstra obviously trying to avoid that right now. Looking for a better second period against Stevens. Puck rattles around a couple of times right in front of us. Get to say hello to the puck like Ryan Brannigan always likes to do. Stevens find it back the other way. Fall Arbor for a shot. Saved by Manzello. Out in front one more time. Another quick one. Manzello makes that save. O'Leary getting good stick on it. I've been informed that the Jets are apparently being blown out right now at home. I feel like that's topical. We got New Jersey people, New York people in the chat. I got to share my misery. Puck one back to the half wall. McIntyre looking for something there. Ends up with Feza over to the right wing corner. Buglione doing some hard work and does lift it out. Van Aaron to the boards. Walks the blue line. Sauces it off to his left-hand side. Hofstra looking for their first strike of the second period. And we'll get an icing. Face off now in the Pride zone. Stevens do win it out. Haven't generated a lot of high-scoring opportunities. Pretty much nothing off the rush for them to speak of. Battle along the boards. Chambers taps it towards the net. Fades off to the left corner. Rabkin there now. Trying to pass it up the boards to Fitzpatrick. Does get a stick on it. Chambers still working at it. Now he'll go down low. Chambers, tap pass out in front, and right there, Manzello gets it. Face off, one back. McArdle trying to get there, playing it up the boards. Sullivan had a shot at it. Trying to dig it out of some skates now. Taps it back for Kelly. He's rammed into the boards by Igler. Kelly once again with it at his feet. It's poked away, ends up with Dean Rosa. Tips it out off the stick of Hiding, and she'll get it all the way into the back. Kelly looking for Grace, and we're going to have our first penalty of the game. Gabe, just thinking about it now, that was a very clean first period. No penalties the entire time. Finally, we got a high stick. This is going to go against the Pride. Sullivan off to the box for 2 minutes. Rare to see high stick calls in the ACHA, mainly because everyone wears cages. Has to be fairly egregious in order for the referees to see it and call it. Head doesn't tend to jerk back as much as if you were wearing a visor like one of our lovely referees. And some customary clock issues here. got to bear with it for a second as everything gets sorted out. And now we're ready to go. Face off, one back by Fallber. Comes back to him now. Ball Harbor. Up to McNamara. He'll will it in deep, giving it down low. Ball Harbor there. Looking to pass to the blue line. O'Leary gives it right back. Down low below the goal line. Stevens, they got to get some shots off. Everything to the zone right now. Here's McNamara. Tall lad. Giving it towards the middle. Quick shot. Blocker save. Manzella was there for it. Hiding. Trying to get it out. Sauce pass to her, and then it's tipped away. McNamara with a very long reach right there. Back into the zone. McNamara. Fallhaber. Taken away by Dean Rosa. He tries to get the clear going and does send it the length of the ice. Wobbling puck. Buglione on the forecheck, just trying to slow this down a little bit. Followed up by DeLuca now. McNamara will get the outlet, wheels this ahead. McNamara trying to turn on the Jets as he wiggles up the far side. Poked away, good check from McArdle, and that does get it clear again. Speed from Buglione, he'll be the first one in deep. Overskates the puck a little bit, takes a big hit as well from O'Leary, who does recover it for Stevens. We'll give it right back to McNamara. Pressured in the neutral zone, sends it to the far side. Stevens on the break-in. Puck will go in deep. McArdle to apply pressure in the corner, does tie up his man there, just killing off some more time. Got about 10 seconds left in the power play. Stevens finally finding a shot, but it's once again directed towards the boards. Dean Rosa trying to get ahead of this last attempt, and we should be back to 5-on-5 and R. Puck ends up below the net. Manzello having a hard time tracking it. Pops free to the corner. Back out is Sullivan. Into an intense battle, joined by his partner McArdle. Sullivan trying to get it to Buglione. He falls down. Shot blocked by Dean Rosa. He'll have some time. Mishandles it a little bit. Fallen player on the back end for Stevens. Now will get up. That's Fallhaber. And then we'll get a huge hit. Helmet popping off as well. Referees quick to whistle the play dead. So Rosa will go. Is he going to get ejected from the game? That's the question. He's being escorted towards the locker room right now by one of our lines officials, pointing to get out of the game. So that's an ejection against the Pride. Question is that followed up with a 5-minute major? They're going to have a conversation with the coaching staff for the Pride. So Lee will go into the box to serve this upcoming penalty. And it looks like we'll get underway. No official update on about how long this penalty is going to be, but I assume since there's an ejection, it's a 5-minute major behind it. Listed as 2 on the scoreboard right now. Referee still having a little conversation, and now there's 5. as I believe we heard the fading war cry of Rosa, who is now out of the game and a little frustrated about being out of the game. So his team now down into a 5-minute major. Grace finds the first clear on this top PK unit is hiding, so she'll be out here a lot over the next 5 minutes. Shot blocked aside, stick lifted. Hiding still able to get that puck out of the zone. Good start, at least, to this 5-minute major for for Hofstra. Fallhaber, who took the hit in the corner from Rosa. Passing it down low, Rabkin giving it right back. McNamara in the slot as the bumper roll. O'Leary. Hallborough, shot, goes wide over to the left, caroms around the boards and carries all the way out. Buglione in on the forecheck, maybe looking for something shorthanded, taps it out in front, rebound, they score! Make it 2! A shorthanded goal! Grace on the board again. 3-0 for the Pride as we're going to get a replay of that. Pass across. What a game for number 44. Grace Hiding again, up to 2 goals in the game so far. Now with a shorthanded to add to that. Obviously, the Pride still have a lot more time to kill off, and they're going to be down a man for the rest of the game. But they're in a good position right now if they can hold on to this lead. Carried into the offensive end. O'Leary looking for something. Comes back out. Rabkin will go to chase. Cross for Fallhaber. Rabkin again. Dices it up in the neutral zone. Enters at the left side. Make that right, but he's denied anyways. Doesn't really matter in the end. O'Leary back into the neutral zone. Stevens having a hard time doing anything in the offensive end. McArdle will watch as Monte will skate onto it. A little bit of pressure here for Stevens. They give it off to McNamara, carries it to the near wall. Up top now. Buglione back on for another shift. Could get an outlet pass, but McArdle wasn't quick enough to the board, so Stevens able to keep it in. Centering pass flies through the crease. Shot from distance, more of a centering try from O'Leary. Still held in by Stevens. They're circling the puck well, but not really getting a lot of pressure. Amante in a fierce battle right now to clear out the crease. As McNamara will watch as the puck sails into his bench. We'll get a face-off upcoming. 12:21 to play in the period. Jets are losing 30-3 now to the Cowboys at home. I am officially done with this team and this franchise. I am now a Hofstra Pride hockey fan. That's my main fandom. McNamara off to the left wing corner. Giving it up top to O'Leary. O'Leary looking for something. Plenty of traffic out in front, but the puck was deflected aside. Back for McNamara. Walks at the blue line. Buglione in at the check. O'Leary now forward again. Couldn't get it through Cox. This is going to be a breakaway for Buglione. He has plenty of speed. Racing down the ice right now on his forehand. Cuts it around. He scores. Hits off the post. Thought that went in for a second, Gabe. I went too quickly. Buglione had it as well. He thought he put that one in. So we'll get a replay of that when we can. But a lot of excitement for Hofstra, almost outscoring Stevens 2-0 on their own 5-minute major. Sullivan Down at the boards. Wraps it around. Fallhaber with it again. Likes to operate behind the dot. Looking for an outlet pass to O'Leary. Had some trouble handing it. Skating after a wobbly puck and will get it in the zone. Fallhaber again. Back to O'Leary. Walks right. Passes left. Shot from the circle. Snaps high into the glass. There's going to be another penalty upcoming, so it's 6-on-5. Back to even strength. Unfortunate for Hofstra. They were about to be done with this kill, I believe. Oh no, there's still 27 seconds, so it's 6-on-4 skating still. And finally a touch-up. As we get a replay, you can see at the last frame, goes back off the post. So it looks like we'll play 22 seconds at 5-on-3. Penalty will go against number 12, McArdle. Going on our other stream right now is Stony Brook versus Oswego. Seawolves just tied up that game 3-3 in a ACHA M1 matchup. $3-0 right now for Hofstra as Gabe gives me a replay of that goal. Or actually, no goal. And it just does ring off the bar. I thought it might have rung off the bar on the inside, which is why I think everyone in the crowd reacted so quickly. But just barely eluding Hofstra, Buglione would have gotten a shorthanded assist, obviously, on the first rush to hiding, and then would have gotten himself a shorthanded goal. Would have been quite the 5 minutes for number 89. Now they have to kill off a 5-on-3. Stevens do get a quick shot, but it's not anything dangerous from Fitzpatrick. Back onto the board. He'll drop it off. McNamara deals it up high. Rotated to the right circle. Back to the slot for a blast. McNamara collects the rebound. Feeds it off. Fitzpatrick again to the high slot. Walking right is O'Leary. And we're into the 5-on-4 now, so Hofstra do get through that very, very quick 5-on-3. Pride getting the clear as well. Halfway gone through this game, half remains. Reminder, if you weren't here earlier, Rosa got a match penalty, so Hofstra will be skating down one player for the rest of the game. Fallhaber working it up. Stevens pinching around the boards. O'Leary looking for a backhand towards the goal. Shot is well wide of its intended target. Curls around. Back for O'Leary. Pass off to Fowler, and they'll be offsides. Another pause. A little bit of rest for Hofstra now. So, Gabe, I said the first period was clean. Now it's been 3 straight penalties, essentially, for Hofstra. They took a 2-minute minor, then a 5-minute major, and then another 2-minute minor, all in succession. Very little time off between that first and second penalty. No time between the second and third. And yet, they're still outscoring Stevens 1-0 during that 9-minute frame, essentially. Got to see if that holds true through the end of this power play. I would imagine it will. McNamara, cross the blue, sends it left. Rabkin looking for an angle, couldn't find it. Rabkin back onto the puck, stick to side by Hofstra, not cleared though. McNamara slides it to the half wall, gets it back. Can't find a nice pass at the goal line, held just barely alive by O'Leary. O'Leary shimmies it, gets it back again. Stevens hard pressed to find any shooting lanes right now. Rabkin onto it in the corner as he gets shoved down. Hofstra back out. Cox almost getting the feed to go onto a breakaway. If he can get there, he has teammates in the middle, plays it towards net, but no shot to be had. So Hofstra with a little bit of excitement as that power play expires. Pride still lead this game 3-0. And in case anyone was wondering, the Jets still suck. Cox onto the draw. It's wrapped around the boards. Might be a clipping on Buglione. Not going to get the penalty. Hofstra still trying to battle the puck out in front. Towards the right wing corner. Monty will go chase after it, and an icing will be called. Hofstra, another O-zone face-off. Cox gets it behind the net, wraps it, trying to feed center. Stevens got sticks in the lane. Come away with possession as well. Fresh legs for Thornton. Into the offensive end. He'll get it stripped off his tape. Back the other way for the Pride now. Shot blocked. Buglione will go chase after it into the corner. Held aside, it works over to the half wall. Amante there to keep it alive. Buglione chasing after it still, has Thornton to beat. And Stevens, once again, will play at the length. This could be another icing and will, so we'll pause that clock once more. 7:12 to play in the second period. If you're wondering, where's the lovely voice of Yerkes? Well, I have an answer to you. He is torturing himself at the Jets game. If you can't tell, I'm frustrated with the Jets. Doesn't matter, because we got Hofstra, more hockey ahead of us. Still about half of this game to play. McArdle tries to keep it alive. Buglione has a chance. Check that. That's number 88, DeLuca. Battling for it in the corner. DeLuca will come away with possession. Wheeling middle. DeLuca, a shot, save made. Regan goes right back to him. Feeds it to the blue line. Far range shot with traffic in front. Deflects off. And we're going to get a whistle. Potential penalty upcoming, or is the net off its moorings? Definitely had some contact down low. Looks like we'll just go for a face-off. No one off to the box, so I have a feeling it was net off its moorings. Off the draw. Matarazzo winning it back for a quick look, but stave made. Cousine hasn't been tested a lot this period as he'll put his glove on top of another one. Obviously, a lot of that because his team spent time in the offensive end. Wasn't able to make a save on the one breakaway look that he had. Unfortunate. Hofstra with a lot of O-zone draws now as Lee gets a first shift that he's had in a little bit. Served that 5-minute major in replace of Rosa. Again, Rosa out with a match penalty for a hit he had earlier on in the game, early on in this period. Aloisio. Joined by Sullivan. Steer the puck to the near boards. Pop down low. Chambers finds a centering pass, but Hofstra are there first. Now the Pride into a rush. Lee trying to go back. Hiding. Pulls up. Good skate work. Left circle. Surveying for options. Snaps one on net, and the save is made. As we'll get a replay of that, the save from Cousine. Lee takes a bit of a spill into the boards. Puck still sitting behind the net, dug out. Now Stevens can find the clear. Hiding on the back check, not able to poke the puck free, so it's a save instead. And Zello, he's been good all game, still pitching a shutout so far. Peard has definitely been a lot slower than the first. O'Leary into the right circle, shot. Manzello, another save. Face off, one back to the D-course, shot. Manzello gets it in the glove again. He's not amused by these shots, not fun for him. Hasn't really been tested despite playing so much of this game in the butterfly position because, well, Stevens have had so many penalties going for them. Fallhaber at the half wall, gives it back to the blue line. Rotated to O'Leary, slides it through some traffic, long range shot, blocker save this time. Manzello steers it to the boards as well, it's flipped high. Lands down at center ice, so Stevens have to reset. Flipped into the O zone. Cox back there for it. Twirls it around the boards. Hofstra now look like they have some room to skate. Amonte brings it up. Tips it in. Takes a big hit at the red line, but still a good play from number 5. Cox trying to hold it there now. Pops out to the neutral zone. Amonte not able to step up onto it. No, actually does. And dumps it in. Comes around for Cousine. He'll get it in his glove for another pause. Face-off dropped in the O zone this time. Matarazzo gives it back, shot, deflects into the boards. Popped up high and out of play for McNamara, who's trying to get it. Matarazzo also has a score in this game. The second of 3 goals. Hiding has the other 2. One shorthanded, one even strength. Hofstra float this puck to the blue line. Lots of speed built up for Van Aren. Tries to get it down low. Comes up. Feza. Back to Van Aren. Turns away from a man. Van Aren still strong on his skates. Turns back towards the goal line. Drops it off. Good handoff. Matarazzo. His backhand shot, EV save. Rebounds for another look, but Loisio couldn't get enough wood on it, and it will end up as another save. Cousine gets there in time as we'll get a replay of that shot as well. Puck off to your left-hand side. Cousine making one stop right there. Comes out in front for him. Gets it in his chest. Hofstra, they slowed down the action a little bit since that third goal. Trying to reignite some offenses. They still have a decent amount of this game ahead of them. Speed now for Stevens. Look for something. Again, these centering passes are just broken up every single time for Hofstra. Sullivan trying to get it out in front of the net. A shot rings off the bar. Kelly had a good look at it. Another O-zone draw here for the Pride. The referees are going to say it's in the right circle. Kelly getting ready for the tie-up. Make that Sullivan. Won it back to the point. Stevens finds an intercept and are able to deal it out. Hiding. Holds it up in the neutral zone for a second. Allows Sullivan to get back on it. Two-on-one developing here for Stevens. Hiding trying to get back as the second. Shot will go wide, so no one really tested on that play. Puck comes out in front of the net. Amante holds on to it. And his home run pass goes a little bit past his intended target of Kelly. All the way back. Manzello will get it in his paddle, keep it alive presumably, and does. Leaves it for McArdle. McArdle off the boards to Kelly again. D-to-D pass with Amante. Intercepted. DeCandia looking for something. Great back check. Comes across the blue paint. Another shot. O'Leary put it behind the net. Clock starting to fade in this period. Hofstra would be more than happy to go into the final frame with a 3-0 lead. Amante again down low. Trying to hit Kelly. Jousts for it in his feet. 3-on-1 for Kelly. Not going to come away with possession. Fallhaber to the slot. Poked from behind by Buglione. Pinched up into the boards. Now Buglione. He's got some wheels. Going ahead. Buglione on the forehand. Breaks out in front. Buglione all alone. Trying the same move that he almost scored on earlier, but is once again denied. Puck back out in front. And Kazin does get a piece of it. Buglione. So ferocious on these breakaways. Back to live. Hofstra not going to win the face-off, so they have to reset. Puck out for Feza. He'll dump it in. Buglione in on the forecheck. Cox trying to hold it there as well. Poke check. Holds it up on the referee. Cox trying to push at it with his left skate. Gets it a little bit further forward. Buglione should have an angle onto this. Challenged by McNamara. McNamara will push him away from the puck. Clears towards the blue line and out. Moisio wasn't able to get there in time. Manzello touches it up. Leaves it for number 15. For Feza now. Shot for Soletta. Once again, another save, Manzello. Just a couple more ticks in this period. 4 seconds, and that'll be it from the middle frame as we get a little bit of shenanigans after the whistle. Stevens probably frustrated about the way this game is going so far. McNamara trying to put something in front. Hofstra not going to get the breakaway because the clock does expire. We'll go to the third period, a 3-0 Hofstra lead. We'll be right back here on the LI Sports Network. And we are back for the third period. Hofstra still holding on to this 3-0 lead. I was talking about how on Friday, got out to a nice lead, 4-1 to be exact, let it up a little bit in the second period, then got it back in the third. Well, today's been a different story. Dominant in the first, dominant in the second, killed off so many straight minutes of penalties. All of that to reach this moment, trying to close it out in the third period. As we get underway, Stevens, on the other hand, well, they've been hard-pressed really for any offense. You can look to number 72, McNamara, to try to break that trend, but there's only so much a single person can do as Hofstra right back onto the rush. DeLuca working it up the right side. His shot will go wide across the cage. Stevens, they also really haven't been getting any rushes, at least not to my recollection. I mean, Hofstra might lead Stevens in rushes in the entire game just from their shorthanded rushes. That's just how lopsided the skating has been. Pride once again looking to break it up and out. Buglione, number 89, has also been electric this game for Hofstra. Shorthanded assist to someone who scored 2 goals. That is Grace Heiting. Got a 5-on-5 goal, got a shorthanded goal. Plenty of ice time in the second period because she was part of that top power penalty kill unit. Stevens do find a breakout, but the outlet pass to O'Leary was a little bit past his stick, so he's just going to have to go on to the forecheck. Hofstra get right past him and send it the other way. DeLuca with it again past the blue line. Fades off to the left side, pulls up circle. DeLuca looking for something in the middle. Van Aaron jabbed his stick at it, but no shot as one does come through from the half wall. Good look for Amonte. Puck ends up pressed along the boards, and Stevens break it up and out. Long-range shot for Igler. Saved by Manzello. Loose in the slot for a second. Batted away to the right wing corner. Matarazzo will get it out. Van Aaron with some room. Van Aaron, man going middle, cuts to the middle himself. Shot taken, loose in the slot. Stevens set it aside. McArdle, he'll take his time with this. Again, Hofstra in no particular rush. Monty will look to clear, gets it ahead to Van Aaron again. Circles back into his own zone. 3 Stevens players in front of him. Long pass, ends up with Fitzpatrick. D to D, he'll go to Thornton. Ahead now for Iglar. He'll sweep it into the offensive end. First in on the forecheck is Vela. To the corner where he's pinched. Pride have bodies out in front. Intercept a centering feed. Alicio, the man to get it clear. Cox, the captain, has also had a couple of good looks throughout the game. Another hip check right there. Cox hasn't scored anything yet, but the way he was playing in the second period, you imagine it's only a matter of time before he gets onto the board. Cutting through Stevens' sticks like it was nothing. Hofstra. Put it around to the half wall. I think that team, Gabe, that was walking behind us was trying to say something into the microphone. I don't think they realized that they didn't get heard. I hate to break it to Arrows Hockey, but you were not a part of this broadcast. For anyone wondering, Jets still suck. Cox onto the face-off, wins it behind himself. Hits off a couple of sticks into the corner. Now a chance to clear, ends up with a shot for O'Leary. Hofstra hemmed into their own zone. Full harbor. Couldn't get it through Cox, so it's taken by Buglione. They'll break it out. Buglione wants it back. Instead, it'll be dumped in. His line will go off for a change. Wholesale line change for Hofstra as they get some fresh skaters on. O'Leary sends it across the rink, takes an awkward bounce, and does deflect out of play. We get a pause with just under 16 minutes to play. Now check that. 16:20 should be the clock. Another D-zone draw. Puck comes across, and McNamara shot through some ankles. Won't go on net. Lee trying to chip it free. Does get it. Sullivan Out of Fielding. Holds up. Fielding dumps it in. Lee going after it. He's taken out on a nice check from McNamara. Comes to the blue line. Circled back around, and a shot taken, save made, Kazin. This line of Sullivan, really more of a combo between Sullivan and Heiting, I should say, as a couple of different players I feel have gotten looks with that combination. Right now coming out is Van Aaron. Sullivan will take the draw. Left dot. Van Aaron chases after it. Slides it into the blue paint. No one was there for the Pride. That easily could have been another goal for them. Instead, it's a slight rush back the other way. Heiting, scanning her options. Hits Van Aaron. Wobbling puck as it was just barely tipped by Chambers. Sullivan comes onto it anyways. Shot goes wide over to the right. Puck onto the near side now and will clear out of the zone. Heiting trying to angle off a man. Has an extra defender back with Feza. He'll pick it up. Beats Chambers to the boards. Van Aaron, touch and go. Now ends up with Sullivan after a couple deflections. He'll dump in as he gains the red line and go off for another change. Around 15 minutes to play in this period. Hofstra more than content with just letting that clock tick, 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 tick down. Bad angle for Stevens. Doesn't go on net. Off the glass, ends up on the boards. Good back check for Van Aaron. Fans on the pass, though. Still finds a man developing for a 2-on-1. Pride looking for some more insurance. The shot saved by Kuzin. Held alive by Van Aaron. His backhand skims around the boards. Good check there from Matarazzo. To the blue line. Great leveling hit for Stevens. Not breaking out just yet. Eventually it's worked ahead. Saletta gets one on goal. Another easy save from Manzello. Takes a high hop to the corner and deflects out of play. Oh, we get another face-off drop. Shot for Cox. Glove save. Shot will whistle wide to the right for the Pride. Pitched in off the backhand of Feza. Cox will chase after it down low. Steered away from him, so Buglione will come in for the pressure on McNamara. Once again held alive by Feza. Buglione trying to get to the loose puck. Cox on top of it, but ending up with it is O'Leary, and he'll send it the length of the ice. DeCandia couldn't take it away from Feza. He has plenty of space. Outlet pass to the boards. Kelly. Sent in. Hofstra playing a very disciplined game as well. Every time the forwards see a defenseman going up the sheet, they know that one has to stay back. They keep that structure very, very well. Cox, the most recent example, but he just lost his stick, so a bit of a harder shift for him now. If he can go behind the net, it's still there in one piece and does get to pick it up. Buglione on the breakout. He's dangerous here, skating one-on-one against McNamara, trying to get around McNamara's long reach. Great work right there from McNamara to angle off Buglione without even needing to make contact. Pass out in front anyway. Sullivan wasn't able to get his stick on it for Amonte. Feeds it down the wall, looking to get it back. Blown tire, puck at the blue line, held in for now. The referee's trying to spot this the whole time. Now Stevens will clear. McArdle with it again. Looking for hiding along the boards. She'll go in onto the forecheck, trying to potentially deny McNamara's clearing attempt, but instead he'll skate it out himself up the left side. McNamara past the blue line. Slot, his shot rips off and wide. Gets his own rebound. Twirls it around the boards. Onto it is Amonte. Poked back the other way. Stevens still with control. McNamara has been out for an extended shift. Easily a minute plus already. Puck to the blue line and out. Fitzpatrick wasn't able to handle it. Now might get called for an icing, waved off by the referees. They'll allow this to continue. McArdle ahead into the skates of DeLuca. He'll control. DeLuca looking to the opposite side. His team a little bit of trouble getting the change going. They were almost too many men. Still a chance. Shot too high. It was Van Aaron getting out in front. Poke to the slot again. Van Aaron, another whack at it. Has the goaltender out of position. No one from the Pride was able to rip it to the back of the net, though. Van Aaron with it again. Into the corner. Gives it away. Shot saved by Cousine. Another look here. Hofstra all over this shift, and a great stop by Cousine. .10:56 left in regulation. Hofstra still up by 3. Haven't had any goals in this final frame just yet. Face-off does go down low. Pride trying to get all over it. Stevens look like they have a clearing route. We're going to get a penalty upcoming. This is going to go against Hofstra as they touch up now. Referees don't give it to him. Now they'll get the touch up. So another power play for Stevens. They are 0 for the day. 3 power plays in total, including 1 5-minute major. They've actually conceded a goal on their power plays as well. To this exact lineup that's out there between Hiding and Buglione. Hiding, battle for on the walls. It gets loose to McNamara. His shot is saved. Manzello getting on top of that in time as we get a look at that on the replay. And you see McNamara's just off to your screen on the left side. Shot comes through right there. Manzello gets on top of it. As we have a little bit more of clock trouble here, so the referees will skate over to handle that for a second. What was a 3-3 game between Stony Brook and Oswego is now a 6-3 game. Oswego on top of the Seawolves, looking to split the weekend 1-1. Stony Brook took the first of those 2 matches in overtime yesterday. Puck, one back to the blue line. Stevens trying to get something out in front. O'Leary available. He'll twist it around, now down low. Rabkin with it. Drops it off. Changing the angle of attack with Fallhaber and trying to give it back to O'Leary. Couldn't handle it. Hiding, pinches the man around the boards just to kill off some more time. McNamara battling to keep it in, almost finding someone in the slot for a shot. Rabkin gives it. Another shot deflected from Fallhaber. Hofstra almost giving something away in the paint. Shot is saved. Some pushing and shoving after the fact. Player down on the ice without his helmet on. Not exactly sure who that is. The referees are going to have to sort through this mess. Looks like we'll get offsetting penalties. If that's the case, we'll stay 5-on-4. Looks like a second man from Stevens will end up in the box. Serrano in there for the moment, which, if that's the case, then we'll skate four aside for a minute before a 2-minute Hofstra power play. Got 9:30 left in regulation as well. It's delay again just for the penalties that the referees are trying to sort out. If anyone was wondering, Jets are down 37-22. It's better than it was. It's better than it was. That's all I'll say. And it looks like we'll get going live again. Again, it'll be 4-on-4 for the next minute, followed by a 1-minute Hofstra power play, their first of the day. Surprised that they haven't had a single opportunity. Stevens, I guess they've been clean in that aspect of the game, but obviously not getting anything on the score sheet. There's lots to be desired. So both sides finally ready to go. Rabkin will be in for the face-off for Stevens, facing down the captain of the Pride, Cox. And we're back underway. Rabkin trying to get free. Ends up on the stick of Cox. He'll lift it high into the air. Goes the length of the ice. Sullivan in onto the forecheck. Left for McNamara behind the net. Pressured by Sullivan. He'll twirl around trying to build up some speed. Banks it off the walls for O'Leary. He blows by Cox. Now into a 3-on-2. Sullivan does get back in time. Shot blocked. Rebound in the paint. Another follow-up shot, and somehow Manzello gets over in time. His right leg, I believe, making that save. Feza couldn't clear. Comes back to McNamara. Another shot from Rabkin. I think he was looking for a deflection from his man in front. Never hit it. Leary now takes it. Power play on for the Pride. One last shot from Leary. Almost found the light of day. So we're into a minute power play now for Hofstra. Trying to find a 4-0 advantage. Really put this game to rest. Puck in the right wing corner right now. Cox trying to get it free. Pops it to Sullivan. At the blue line now. Feeding Feza. Shot was off to the right. Still loose in front of the cage. Puck available and up for grabs. O'Leary will say, I'll take it. And he'll play at the length. Amonte looking for Buglione. Good edge work from Buglione. Puts on the brakes at the blue line. Trying to pass it off to his left. Instead, he'll cycle it. Matarazzo has Van Aaron near him. Holds on to it. Still in the left circle. Time fading on the power play. Now gives it to Van Aaron. Takes a big hit into the boards. Van Aaron trying to hold on but can't. And now Stevens will get the clear. Power play is over as well for Hofstra. Not that they needed to score, but it definitely would have been some nice insurance for them. 7 minutes remaining in the third period. This is a 2-on-0 breakaway right now. Called offsides. Van Aaron a little too excited on that pass from Buglione. Sullivan onto the face-off. Given back to McNamara. Pressed by Hiding. She'll take it away. Looking to go middle. Goes through a lot of traffic. Ends up with Kelly. Outlet pass for Steven. They'll break free. Coors just pokes it into the corner. Should be plenty of space for Amonte to go back for it. Sullivan takes over to help out his defenseman down low. McIntyre got leveled on the far point, allowing Hofstra a little bit more space. Hiding, avoiding that hit. Still does get the puck out. Kelly now in deep. Sweeping on the forehand. Allows Sullivan to skate into it. Can't get around McNamara, though. Does a good job separating the puck from body. McArdle down. No icing called by the referees, so McArdle will have to do this the hard way. Backhander. Now tipped out of the zone. Good stick work from Kelly. Stevens returned the favor. McArdle rotates it to the far side. Kelly instantly closed down by Vela. Still pressed into the boards right now. Four bodies come together, all trying to dig out the puck. It's still sitting in the corner, put out in front of the net. McArdle has plenty of time to play it. Curling around, nice twisting move from McArdle. Now banks it off the glass. takes a hop out of the zone. Instantly on the reload is McIntyre. Has O'Leary flying forward. O'Leary, a drag shot save made. Hiding. Couldn't get it at her feet. Centering bid. Popped high into the air. Stevens glove it down, feed it back to the point, and it breaks free. Van Aren definitely has the speed, trying to get this into a breakaway. Only one more man to beat. Van Aren, power move to the front. He scores. Make it 4-0 now for the Pride. A late goal in the third period just to ensure it. We'll get that onto the replay. Van Aren, he knew that was going to be dangerous right away. Gets around that check, goes backhand, says, see ya later, son. 4-0 now the score. .505. It's a good Arctic Monkeys song. Left in the third period. Gabe to Curry, frustrated about his Eagles right now. Don't ask me about the Jets. Don't ask me. They still suck. Hofstra breaking it out again. Van Aren, who just scored the goal, might look for another one on this shift. Definitely sees it in his eyes. Takes it away. Again, one man to beat. Great move from Van Aren. Out in front. The finish. Just skies it too high. It goes out of play. Van Aren showing off the mitts right there. On this in-tight replay, you're going to see him go between the legs. Yeah, right there. Now, anyone who knows the mayor of Long Island, Travis Quigley, will know that he scored a goal between the legs. I believe when he was playing, I don't know who he played for. He told me every team he played for at one point, but I just can't remember for the life of me. He played for so many teams. Anyways, made it all the way to the Sports Center top 10, that goal. O'Leary trying to find it between his legs. Does get the shot off. It's fought away by Hofstra. Ends up in the boards. Rebound opportunity. Coming loose to McNamara. Goes skate to stick, then overskates the puck. Another long ranger and another save. And Zello still on for this shutout. I'm sure he would be more than happy to go the next 4:10 with no action. Face off, one towards the slot. Buglione applying the pressure in the neutral zone. Twists around. Fallhaber, he hasn't been on the ice for a while, taking a couple of big hits today, so might be a little bit shaken up. Finds a man out in front. O'Leary not able to get the shot off, still tied up. McArdle, a great job on the defense right there. Comes to McNamara. He's off sides, and the whistle will be blown by the refs. Face off. Cox trying to break it 3. Comes back to his defense. McArdle could be the first one there. Smacked out of the zone. Now Cox has it. Looking for Buglione. Said takes it himself. Cox cutting across the blue line. Another great toe drag. Cox a shot. Not going to go in. Robbed there by Cousine. Cox coming in on the screen with a lot of speed. He's going to fake off to the left, drag it back onto his forehand. Hofstra definitely dangerous right there. Dying minutes here. Stevens could get onto the rush, but it's shut down by Feza. He was one who opened the door, so fitting that he closed it on that play. Loisio does dump it into the Steven end. Followed up by Sullivan. Now Hiding with it. Hiding, cutting net front, looking for a shot. Her hat-trick goal on the line right there. Just couldn't get it past. Sullivan with it again. Loisio trying to go across the blue line to Feza. He'll keep it in. This is Lee with it now. Bank pass intercepted. Hiding with a nice hit, leveling a man. Trying to get it back. Hiding out in front. Her hat trick. Couldn't bury it. So close for Grace. Power play upcoming. Oh, there was so much room right there for 44 in front. This place would have erupted. Right there, that's her opportunity. Couldn't get the backhand off in time. .223 to play. Hofstra onto the power play. Matarazzo getting it to Van Aren. Has Buglione in the middle. Gives it down low below the goal line. Off to the side, Van Aren. Gets it to McArdle. Returns the favor. Rotates it to the corner. Cox cutting in off the goal line. Trying to jab it in. Hofstra not able to dot that eye. Now Stevens onto a rush of their own. This is Rabkin on the steam, looking for McNamara in front. Manzello gets on top of it. No whistle. Will continue play. A little bit of an opportunity for Stevens to kill off some of this clock. Not that Hofstra mind. They're up 4-0 right now with a $1:35 to lift the play in regulation. Van Aren again. Looking for McArdle. Had a little bit of trouble, so we'll find his captain. Here's Cox past the red line, now past the blue. Cox gets around McIntyre. His shot saved. Rebound, Buglione wasn't there in time, but does get that rebound instead. Feeds to Cox. Onto the backhand, looking to go middle. Matarazzo feeds it into the slot. Pitched high out of the zone. Touches down at the blue line. About a minute to play in regulation. Just offsides was Buglione. Back to live with under a minute to play. Leary trying to rub it in, but he's just, again, denied. I've been so impressed by Manzello this entire game. Feza touches up. Last chance for Hiding to get her hat trick goal. Rush for Hofstra, going to be broken up in the neutral zone. Sullivan on the backhand, almost leveled. O'Leary did a good job there. Rushed in by Thornton. He ends up deep. Clock starting to fade. 20 seconds left. We're back to 5-on-5. Stevens looking for one more goal. The puck ends up behind the net, but diving onto it anyways was Manzello. 10 seconds left in regulation. Hofstra looking to come away with a 4-0 victory. Give themselves a nice finish to a good weekend. One more shot, Manzello the save, cover-ups again. Should be the last face-off of the game. Dropped over to the right of Manzello. He'll watch McArdle pinch it against the boards. A shutout for Hofstra. A 4-0 victory. All here on the LI Sports Network. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday, kind of early morning into afternoon game. Weird time. Nonetheless, we're here to broadcast all of it. We hope you enjoyed. Pride win 4-0.